Have you ever watched someone spend so much energy trying to control another person that you eventually have to ask, wait, who's actually obsessed with whom? Because here's the comedic irony of narcissistic dynamics. The person demanding control can become completely preoccupied with the person who refuses to be controlled. And that's where the chosen one archetype gets interesting. Not because anyone literally possesses supernatural power over another person, but because autonomy can be incredibly threatening to someone who depends on control. Scene 1, the power grab. The narcissistic archetype walks in like, I control the narrative. Chosen one, okay. Narcissistic archetype, I control how everyone sees you. Chosen one, okay. Narcissistic archetype, I can provoke you. Chosen one, still okay. At this point, the internal nervous system is basically error 404, control response not found, because manipulation requires participation. If you don't provide the expected emotional reaction, the strategy loses efficiency. What actually happens psychologically? Let's keep this grounded. We cannot know what any particular person is experiencing internally, and not every difficult person has narcissistic personality disorder. But when someone with strong narcissistic traits experiences narcissistic injury, a threat to their self-image, status, entitlement, or expected control, they can experience intense emotional reactions. Potential reactions include anger, shame, anxiety, humiliation, agitation, rumination, attempts to restore status, increased efforts to obtain validation. The nervous system can become highly activated, and that's where the comedy begins, because the person may believe, I'm controlling this situation, while simultaneously spending an absurd amount of mental energy thinking about the person they're supposedly above. The divine will problem. Now let's enter the spiritual frame. The chosen one represents someone who says, my life is guided by my values, conscience, purpose, and relationship with the divine, not by your approval. And that can be profoundly destabilizing to a control-based dynamic, because you cannot easily control someone whose internal compass doesn't belong to you. They don't need permission. They don't need validation. They don't need to win every argument. They don't need you to understand them. They simply keep moving. And suddenly the antagonist is standing there like, wait, why isn't my opinion changing their behavior? The most fatal narcissistic injury, irrelevance. Here's the twist. The most painful thing isn't necessarily being defeated. It can be becoming irrelevant to the person you were trying to control, because imagine spending all that energy attempting to provoke someone, only to discover they blocked the noise, went to work, started the business, created the art, improved their finances, made new connections, went on vacation, got healthier, learned something new, and completely forgot to check whether you were still angry. That's the ultimate psychological reversal. Not, I destroyed you, but you no longer determine my direction. The attack menu. And here's where repetitive conflict becomes almost sitcom-level predictable. Attack number 1, criticism. Chosen one, interesting. Attack number 2, gossip. Chosen one, anyway. Attack number 3, provocation. Chosen one, silence. Attack number 4, smear narrative. Chosen one, continues building. Attack number 5, new angle. Chosen one, didn't we already do this episode? Because when the underlying objective is control, the tactics can change, while the fundamental strategy remains identical. Get a reaction. That's why the real counter isn't inventing a better attack. It's refusing to provide the reaction the manipulation depends upon. The nervous system. Loop. When someone becomes intensely invested in another person's reaction, uncertainty itself can become uncomfortable. They don't know. What are they thinking? Why aren't they responding? Did they see it? Why don't they care? What are they doing next? That uncertainty can feed rumination, and rumination can create more emotional activation. So the person attempting to control the target can paradoxically become increasingly preoccupied with the target's behavior. The supposed controller becomes the one checking the scoreboard. The chosen one's alchemy. And here's where you turn the entire situation into gold. Don't become obsessed with proving they're obsessed. Don't monitor them. Don't retaliate. Don't create your own counter-drama. Instead, protect your attention. Strengthen your boundaries. Document real incidents when necessary. Use appropriate channels for actual harassment or unlawful conduct. Keep building your life. Because the ultimate power isn't making someone panic. It's reaching the point where their emotional state is no longer your responsibility. The final boss, your own reaction. The greatest victory isn't, they finally suffered. It's, I stopped organizing my life around whether they suffered. That's when the entire psychological game collapses. They can criticize, you create. They can gossip, you improve. They can compare, you evolve. They can repeat the same tactic from 17 different angles. And you can simply say, new day, same episode. I'm not watching. Because the chosen one archetype isn't about possessing power over other people. It's about refusing to surrender your power over yourself. Caption. When someone desperately needs your reaction, your calm becomes disruptive, not because you're magically controlling them. And that's Alchemy.In.Motion, because you stopped giving the behavior the payoff it was designed to produce. Comment. Same episode. If you've recognized repetitive manipulation patterns in your life, then share this with someone who needs the reminder. You don't have to defeat every antagonist. Sometimes the ultimate plot twist is simply, you stopped auditioning for their drama. Now they're hiding while throwing rocks from a safe place. The evidence of defeat is in plain sight, yet they think they hold power over you. That's hilarious. Be sure to like, share, and follow your tribe of alchemists.